I had a contact last night with Thor Han, my contact in the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Thor Han is a fleet commander, and we've been communicating together all my life since he rescued me when I was a child from an abduction by the Orion Greys. But Thor Han and myself communicate by a device that is in me and which allows quantum communication. This is technology. This is not channeling. This is not downloads. This is none of this. It is quantum technology, very safe and non-hackable. Often I have contact when he wants to show me something. And last night, the contact switched on. And when we are in contact, it's similar to telepathy, except that it's very accurate and very physical and strong. And we have shared visions, shared sounds. We speak telepathically, but I can see around his head a narrow periphery, like about this distance. So I can see in the background what's going on. And sometimes we can share a vision and I can look through his eyes, or he can look through my eyes when we decide and agree for it. So he shows me what he is looking at. I have no control on the vision. I cannot look right and left, up and down. It is seeing through his eyes. Last night I had such a contact, as I often have, nearly every day. Thor Han was running, quite in a hurry, to a cargo bay on the Excelsior, which is the battle mothership of the Galactic Federation of Worlds in this star system. In this cargo bay where he arrived, it's always a great enjoyment seeing him walking through this mothership, because I can see the decor, I can see the corridors with big bay windows looking over space. Sometimes you see a little bit of the curvature of the Earth. It's beautiful. The moon sometimes when it's near. He teleported himself twice from teleport pads inside of the station. When he arrived in the cargo bay, there was a lot of agitation. And I said, why are you working with the cargo bay? You are a fleet commander. You command a fleet of ships. He said, well, because my fleet was in charge of mission and I need to supervise. So his ships had brought back from the moon strange stuff. So the cargo was arriving and it was, he showed it to me in the cargo bay. There were a lot of people not running around, but, walking, busy and excited. What was brought back was, it looked like big pods, but not pods as you imagine, like life pods or, life support, things like this. The shapes were organic. It was like, chrysalis, butterfly chrysalis, exactly the same shapes, but it was hard, it was solid. And so I said, oh, wow, is that, it was brownish black and a bit of yellow. The size was about, I'm going to talk in meters because it's my unit of measures, about 3 to 4 meters long on about 2 meters high. And Thor Han is a little bit higher than 2 meters, so I could, well, it's actually about 2 meters, but he could slightly look over it. he explained to me that these pods were in fact technology. And I said, what kind of technology? Where it comes from first, you know? He said, it comes from the moon. He said, it comes from Luna, Earth moon, well, Terra's moon, he said. And I said, wow, is that linked to with the arcs and the cedars? He said, no, nothing to do with the arc on the moon. It's something way more ancient than that. It came with the moon when the moon was brought into this solar system. And it stayed there. It was always there. It was technology of the people who brought this moon there into our star system. And they said, it's not the Galactic Federation, it's another organization. So I thought straight away, because, you know, I thought about, hey, wait a minute, Alex Collier, 20 years ago, told us about this, that the moon was brought by the Andromedans into our star system. And I asked him, oh, was it a Zene or Zenate? It depends on the grammar read, where the word in the sentence is used. Sometimes you say Zenate, sometimes you say Zene. I'm not able to explain. So I said, is that the Zene? And he smiled, he went, okay, you can't tell, but you told me, thank you. By the way, I already sent a message to Alex Collier and he was delighted. Well, this technology came with the people who brought the moon into our star system. What was that technology? He said, well, this was, and why now, you know? So it is, these are not living beings, but these are chests, like boxes. And inside there are tools, technology, devices. But the chrysalis thing, it's like a protective time capsule, or I don't know, it's protecting them, as I understood, from anything. It keeps this technology on life support. It is an organic technology, something that we haven't yet understood on Earth. Some ET races have technology that is organic. It is not biologic, but it's like the ships of the Intergalactic Confederation. When I first went in one last October 2021, what shocked me was the organic aspect of it, aspect and feel, you know, very ancient technology. So these pods have nothing to do with the Cedars and the Intergalactic Confederation. But I would be curious, Alex, if Morene could explain about what this technology is about. What is it, this organic technology? So I send you the ball in your camp now. Dear Alex. Well, that was it. And a lady came. She was wearing a white suit, smart suit, with some black lines that it was going like this and down the front, so like this and down. And she had brown hair, brown straight hair, cut like this with a little bang like this. And she had clear eyes, and she was in charge of the transfer. And her name was Tara, and she was coming from the moon. She works on the moon. She's a Tal from Ashara, Thor Han told me, and she's well in charge. So she interrupted Thor Han's communication with me. Well, he stayed in contact, but I could then follow their conversation. They were talking about the transfer of these pods and that the scientists were coming. Well, Thor Han told her that she needed to hang around a little bit more because the scientists were on their way. And so that was it. I said to Thor Han, so scientists are on their way from where? He said, from the science vessel of the Federation. I said, so why did you send these pods directly to the science vessel? He said, because they need to be protected. From who? He said, that's the procedure. There's no more enemies in the star system, but the procedure says that it needs to be guarded by our military and that the things are done that way. It's so important. And I said, why now? He said, because until now, the moon was in the hands of the Nebu and they could never crack this thing. It was buried very, 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 very deep down below the surface of the moon, inside of the moon, in fact, it was. Everybody knew it was there, but as long as the Nebu held the moon, there was no way to retrieve this technology. Now, the Nebu were kicked in February 2021, and then the war concluded and was fixed in the star system. And well, then there's been all this rush of taking back the Lunar Operative Command, taking back all the evacuated bases on the moon in the hands of the Earth Alliance and the Federation. And all these medbed technologies are being mass produced on the moon and people trained. And you know all about this. Well, now things have calmed down and the Federation can allow a program dedicated to retrieving this technology from the moon. And it probably will be given back to the ZNA. I suppose it's the right thing to do. Before we disconnected, the scientist arrived. So that's why Thor Han and I disconnected, because he was going to be busy. I saw scientists and what they were coming from the science vessel of the Federation. And what was interesting is there was one guy, I said, he's not Pleiadian, he's not what he made. I've never seen this race before. Who is this man with the scientists? I said, he's one of the Intergalactic Confederation members, scientists. They came as well to have a look. That's the last person I saw, and that before we cut contact, I was focusing my attention on detailing how this guy looked like. So, Ormong was the name of the race, Ormong, O-R-M-O-N-G, as I understood it could be written. Of course, it's not written like this. Ormong. He was humanoid. He wore a yellow jumpsuit, but thick fabric with a brown patch that came like this. There was a round insignia in here with something inside like this in it, like a round with another half circle in it, gold pin. There was another shoulder patch here, brown, and there was a clear brown belt. So he had a density belt, so he was from a higher density, tuning to this one. Well, his face was weird. He has blonde hair, but like creamy blonde, but very short, like very short hair, like spikes, very short. And he had a face, well, like this, very like pronounced in the front, like this. Thin nose, like a bit hooked, and very, very stretched eyes that were going on the side. You know, instead of being round, his head was a little bit flatter like this. We would be like this, but he was like this. I'll draw everything in my next book, don't worry. Clear green eyes. And here's like this. How to describe it? He was smaller than Thor Han. And that's what I could see of this guy. Ormond, name of his people. Now, that's all that Thor Han could tell me. I hope I will know more about this ancient technology. That's quite exciting. And I leave you with this.